Hello and welcome. Today, I want to share a story with you. It's not a story of grand adventure or dramatic twists, but a simple, beautiful story about a perfectly ordinary, extraordinary day I had with my husband. I'm Clara, and my husband's name is David. This is the story of our picnic. It began not on a sunny afternoon in a field, but on a rainy Tuesday evening, buried under a week that felt like a month. David had been swamped with a major project at his architecture firm, working late nights and bringing home a cloud of quiet stress. I, Clara, had been juggling my own work as a freelance graphic designer with the endless whirlwind of managing our home, our schedules, and the general noise of life. We were like two ships passing in the hallway, exchanging quick kisses and logistical updates. Did you pay the electric bill? I have a late meeting Thursday. We're out of coffee. Our conversations had become a series of footnotes. That particular Tuesday, I was cleaning up after a solitary dinner. David was still at the office. The rain tapped a monotonous rhythm against the window pane, mirroring the dull ache in my heart. I missed him. Not just his physical presence in the house, but him. His laugh, the way his eyes crinkle at the corners when he's about to tell a bad joke, the way he absent-mindedly hums old rock songs while he makes coffee. I felt a deep, yearning need to reconnect, to carve out a piece of time that was just for us, away from deadlines and to-do lists. And that's when the idea struck me, as clear and bright as a shaft of sunlight breaking through the clouds. A picnic. It sounded so simple, almost childish. But that was the point. We needed simple. We needed to be kids again, without a care in the world beyond the contents of a picnic basket. I decided then and there that it would be a surprise. I would plan everything, down to the last detail, and whisk him away for an entire Saturday. The anticipation alone filled me with a giddy energy. I spent the rest of that week planning in secret, a conspirator in my own home. First, the location. It had to be special, but not too far. I remembered a state park about a 45-minute drive away, Pine Ridge Grove. We'd gone hiking there once, years ago, and stumbled upon a small secluded meadow overlooking a gentle rolling valley. It was the kind of place that felt untouched, private, and peaceful. I looked it up online, cross-referencing maps and weather forecasts. Saturday was predicted to be perfect, 75 degrees, sunny with a few picturesque fluffy clouds. It was a sign. Next, the food. This was my domain. I wanted it to be a feast of our favorite things, a culinary love letter. I started with the centerpiece, the sandwiches. Not just any sandwiches. I would make David's absolute favorite, a classic Reuben on rye bread. I planned to get the best corned beef from the deli counter, real Swiss cheese. Sauerkraut I would rinse and saute with a hint of caraway seeds, and a homemade Thousand Island dressing with relish and a dash of hot sauce. For me, I decided on a creamy chicken salad sandwich with grapes and almonds on a croissant. I mentally compiled the rest of the menu. A simple pasta salad with sun-dried tomatoes and fresh basil. A colorful fruit salad with watermelon, berries, and mint. A wedge of his favorite aged cheddar and some water crackers. And for dessert, the pièce de résistance. Homemade brownies, dense, fudgy, and studded with chocolate chips. The basket itself was an old, beautiful wicker one we'd received as a wedding gift and barely used. I unearthed it from the top shelf of the garage, dusted it off, and lined it with a red and white checkered cloth that felt quintessentially picnic. I gathered the plates, the real silverware, because this was a classy affair, the wine glasses, and a corkscrew. I even found a small insulated cooler for the chilled items. The final touch was the blanket. I didn't want some thin, scratchy beach towel. I wanted comfort. I chose the heavy, soft wool blanket we usually kept draped over the back of our couch. the one we snuggled under during movie nights. It smelled like home. Friday night, David came home looking exhausted. His shoulders were slumped, and he had that distant look in his eyes that meant his brain was still running spreadsheets and blueprints. "How was your day?" he asked, giving me a weary kiss on the cheek. "Good," I said, my voice a little too bright. "Just, the usual." I felt a thrill of secrecy. "Big day tomorrow. I have a few errands to run in the morning, so you'll have the house to yourself for a bit." He just nodded, too tired to question it. "Okay, honey, that sounds nice." I went to bed that night, buzzing with excitement, like a child on Christmas Eve. Saturday morning, I was up with the sun. I moved through the quiet house like a ninja, gathering my pre-purchased supplies. I cooked the brownies first, and the rich, chocolatey scent filled the kitchen. While they cooled, I prepared the pasta salad, chopped the fruit, and assembled the sandwiches. Wrapping them tightly in parchment paper, I packed the basket meticulously, layering everything so nothing would get crushed. The blanket was rolled and secured with a strap. I loaded everything into the trunk of the car, hiding it all under an old blanket, just in case. I came back inside, my heart pounding. David was just stumbling into the kitchen, drawn by the lingering smell of coffee I'd made. "You're up early," he mumbled, rubbing his eyes. "Lots to do," I said cheerfully, handing him a mug. "Oh, by the way, I need you to do me a huge favor." "Anything," he said, taking a grateful sip. "I need you to come with me to help me pick up something really heavy from a store near Pine Ridge Grove. It'll only take an hour, I promise." He looked at me, a flicker of confusion in his tired eyes. "Pine Ridge? That's a bit of a drive just for a heavy thing. What is it?" "It's a surprise," I said, batting my eyelashes playfully. "For the house, please. It'll be a nice drive. We can listen to that new podcast you like." He sighed, but it was a good-natured sigh. "Okay, Clara, for you. Just let me get dressed." 20 minutes later, we were in the car. The sun was shining, the sky was a brilliant blue, and my secret felt like a living thing in the car with us. David, still in his sleepy haze, navigated to the podcast and leaned his head back against the seat. I drove, my hands tied on the wheel, a secret smile playing on my lips. As we got closer to the park, he started to notice. Clara? The stores are back that way," he said, pointing behind us. "I know. The, place is a little further in." I took the turnoff for the state park. "Are we going hiking?" he asked, now fully awake and genuinely perplexed. "I'm not really dressed for hiking." He was wearing a simple t-shirt and jeans. "Don't worry," I said, patting his knee. "No hiking, I promise." I drove down the familiar park road, my heart starting to beat a little faster. I turned onto the small gravel access road that led to the meadow, the car bumping gently along the ruts. David was silent now, just looking out the window, a curious expression on his face. When I pulled into the small dirt parking area at the trailhead, he turned to me. "Clara, what's going on?" I put the car in park and turned to him, unable to contain my smile any longer. "David Robinson, for the past week, you have been working yourself to the bone, and for the past week, I have missed you terribly. So, I am officially kidnapping you. There will be no spreadsheets, no emails, no deadlines today. There is only this." I got out of the car and popped the trunk. His eyes widened as he saw the wicker basket, the blanket, the cooler. The confusion on his face melted away, replaced by a look of such profound surprise and tenderness that it took my breath away. A slow, genuine smile spread across his face, the first one I'd seen in what felt like ages. You planned a picnic," he said, his voice soft with disbelief. "I planned a picnic," I confirmed, my own eyes welling up with happy tears. "Now come on, we have a short walk. And you're in charge of carrying the heavy stuff." He laughed, a real full-bodied laugh that was music to my ears. He grabbed the basket and the cooler, slinging the blanket over his shoulder. "You are incredible," he said, leaning in to kiss me. It was a proper kiss, not a hurried peck. It was a "hello, I'm back" kiss. We walked hand in hand down the narrow path, dappled sunlight filtering through the canopy of pine and oak trees. The air was clean and smelled of earth and pine needles. After about 10 minutes, the trees thinned and we stepped into the meadow. It was even more beautiful than I remembered. A carpet of green grass, sprinkled with wildflowers, stretched out before us, leading to the edge of the valley. The view was breathtaking, a panoramic sweep of rolling hills, fading into a hazy blue in the distance. "We found this place years ago," David murmured, his voice filled with awe. "I can't believe you remembered." "Of course, I remembered," I said, squeezing his hand. "We found the perfect spot, right at the edge of the meadow, where the grass was soft and the view was unobstructed." I spread out the big wool blanket, weighting the corners with our shoes and the basket. As I began to unpack, David just stood for a moment, taking it all in. The view, the blanket, me bustling about. He looked free. The tension had completely drained from his shoulders. "This is the best surprise I have ever received," he said finally, sitting down beside me. We started with the cheese and crackers, and a bottle of crisp Sauvignon Blanc. I'd chilled in the cooler. The pop of the cork sounded like the official start of our vacation. We clinked our glasses together. "What should we toast to?" he asked. "To us," I said simply. "To remembering to look up from the spreadsheets and see each other." "To us," he echoed, his eyes holden,